Hi, everyone. Welcome. Sorry we're a bit late this morning. It's Sunday, and honestly, I haven't had to been up for a meeting on Sunday in almost a decade. So we apologize, but welcome to XJW's Talk Therapy and Support.
How y'all doing today? Yeah, how y'all doing today? We're just welcoming you guys. Jesse's gonna talk a little bit before we go ahead and invite everybody in. So if you're waiting, she's gonna have to mute the mics on mute for a second. So just give her some time. But welcome, invite, share, and we're here. Let's go. You there, Jesse? I don't know if she's on mute.
Yes, I was. I'm so sorry. So yeah, before we get, I'm going to put up the screen, but I do want to talk to the group for a minute about some things that have been said, been discussed, issues that people are having, and I want to make sure this comes from us, the admins. Let's be clear. We're a group of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, but we're not all in the same place when it comes to our thinking. Some of us are physically in and mentally out. Some of us are physically in and semi-mentally out. Some of us are physically out and still have mentally in issues. And so that means that when you're discussing this subject with others, you have to realize that not everyone's in the same place. That being said, we won't be having name calling in here. We're not going to judge others for the questions they ask or the topics that they bring up. I mean, if we're starting to talk QAnon, stuff, I may an admin or moderator may jump in. But if you're talking about what goes on in the back room, the elders, or questions or theories or that you have, we're not going to judge you, because if you were in the office in a mental health office with a professional, they're not going to judge you. They're going to listen to you. So it's whether we agree or not, you will not. No one in this group will jump down anyone else's throat.
Yeah, we've been bullied enough. We don't want to have that. That's not the energy that we're looking for. And we're not, if you didn't do this, we're not talking to you, because we have definitely gotten rid of the people that are trying to bully inside of this group. If you will understand, this is not the energy we're trying to bring. We're trying to bring a loving energy. We want people to feel safe here. This needs to be a place where you can get out whatever you feel and not be judged about it. You don't want people attacking. I see that in a lot of the other groups. That's not what this group is about. So we don't want anybody to feel that way or feel bullied or be bullying.
Now, it's clear that people may say things that we, the admins, don't agree with or don't believe. But when they're up here and people are willing to share their thoughts and their feelings, that takes a lot of strength and a lot of bravery. And if you were to come back at them, you may harm that person and prevent them from speaking out and seeking help and seeking support again. So if you have a question about something that's been said, or you're worried about how it looks, bring it to us, bring it to the admins. But again, when you bring it to us, you got to step the right way too, because we don't believe in name calling. We don't believe in putting down other people. If you're concerned about it, let us know. We'll look into it. But it is not upon anyone in this group, not even us as admins, as moderators, to talk down on anybody. That's some Jehovah's Witness stuff, and we don't play that.
Exactly. That's right. I totally agree. I don't like it. I think it's really horrible, and you already got to deal with it. Like I said, and you've already had to deal with it in the organization, dealing with the JW cult. Then you have to deal with it in the other ex-JW groups. I mean, this is a support group. He said, Alicia said he can't get in for some reason.
I know. I'm letting him in.
You're in the waiting room. She's gonna let you in, but I don't know if you're finished with that. I hope they got that. I hope everybody understands that that's not the energy. But we definitely got to say, welcome to the Apostate Café today.
Yes, and I think this actually leads into a great subject that we're going to be talking about, which is unconditional love.
Yes.
So let's get everybody in the group. If you are just joining now, I am opening up the waiting room. So if you're ready to want to join this discussion about unconditional love, please feel free. We're off our soapbox.
Okay, Eli here from Miami.
Hey, welcome.
Welcome. Hey, Brandy. Hey, Licia. How y'all doing?
Pretty good. I'm going to be on here for like maybe a good 5-10 minutes because got other stuff to do. I got another Zoom meeting, professional wise, to attend, but I was happy to get on here.
Oh, okay then. Great. Okay.
Well, the topic today is unconditional love, and I think that's something a lot of us as former witnesses, I don't want to say we have a lot of experience with it, but we know what it means and what it doesn't mean. Going to keep it light because this is a kind of a cafe hour. Grab your coffee. We're not going to be on a lecture. We're just hearing, what does unconditional love mean to you? I know some of us have children, some of us don't. But when you hear that term, there's been songs written about it. A personal favorite by Katy Perry. I'm not a big fan of hers, but that song, brought tears to my eyes, unconditionally. So for those of you that are just joining, Alicia, I like to, since you're only going to be here for a few minutes, what does unconditional love mean to you?
Unconditional love is having a son, daughter, that's lesbian, gay, bisexual, and showing that you don't judge them based on appearances, whether the sexual orientation, religious background, or anything of that matter. I was born in Brooklyn, raised in South Florida. I've had gay friends, lesbian friends, not a lot of transgender, I must admit. I've had Mormon friends, Jehovah Witness friends, obviously, and atheist friends. Most of my friends are either atheist or agnostic. Politically wise, my politics have always leaned to the left. I've always said if you're against politics but you spend all day playing video games and don't go out and exercise, this, you kind of shooting yourself in the foot. That's the way I see it. My mother, who, as many of you know, will be 81 pretty soon, had never forced me to take the dip, although it destroyed her relationship with my father. That's what I mean by unconditional love, showing love via social media forums or face to face.
I think, yeah. I mean, especially when you talk about your mom and taking that stand for you and your choices. I think that right there, especially when confronted with the beliefs of other witnesses and her own spouse. I mean, yeah, that takes love.
Yeah.
What about you, Dion?
Me personally, I think unconditional love has no conditions. That means not putting your kids off, your children. I mean, when I think about it, it's not putting your children off for an organization, for other people, for someone that tells you to, just leave your family behind. It's loving regardless, accepting someone regardless of how they think, how they feel, how they do things. You just have to love. There's no conditions when it comes to me. There's no conditions when it comes to love. You have to, especially your own flesh and blood. And then when you come out to other people out here in the world, or even in the groups, we're not so much out in the world right now, but even out in the groups, I have an unconditional love towards people like that as well, because people have pain. And I can't sit back and feel like judgmental, judging them and be like, oh, let me pull back myself from them because they're not feeling the same way as I'm feeling. I mean, unconditional love has no conditions. It's going to love no matter what. That's how I feel about it.
Right. And I hear where you're coming from. Man. And that's why I said I got a so-called handful of friends, guy friends, that are still in, and they're fading too. They don't want to admit it, but they're fading too. I ran into one the other day. Electrician, he says, oh, I don't go anymore. And he showed me love despite the fact that I haven't seen him over a decade,
Wow, that's good.
Good. That is good.
Brandy, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I just turned my camera off because I was smoking and I remembered you was on live.
Well,
Brandy
feel
and I
free
had a
to.
conversation.
Hey, friend. Hey, Fancy.
Yes, I'm here.
I'm wondering if
I'm
it's
gonna
Apostate Cafe or Apostate Cannabis Hour, because I'm seeing everybody up on some stuff.
I'm gonna piggyback off of what Dion said. That's it, unconditionally. Like no matter what, you know what I mean, your choices are for your life.
It's a live virtual Q&A, like a virtual roundtable, if you will, with ex-Jehovah Witnesses, which is
What's happening?
Who's that?
Go ahead, I got it. Sorry,
Okay.
somebody was off mute.
Okay.
I'm gonna piggyback off of what Dion said. Unconditional love is just that. It's unconditional, regardless of what I feel you should or should not. What we agree to disagree or don't agree to disagree on is not constitutional of my love. You know what I mean? Even if I feel some type of way about it, I'm gonna voice my opinion, but it's not gonna make me love you any less. Especially when it comes to my family, my children, my husband, you know what I mean, my real friends, you know what I mean? Just because we don't agree doesn't mean, you know what I mean, I'm just gonna now if it's to a point where you messing up, you fucking with my vibe, then that's one thing, you know what I mean? If I feel like you pulling me down to a negative vibration and your energy disturbs me, then that's one thing. But if you're, you know, my family and family can be toxic, don't get me wrong, I have cut family off too. But I'm saying unconditional love is those who you spend the majority of your time with, regardless of what they do or do not. You don't treat them any different.
Mm-hmm. And I love how you said that, because unconditional love doesn't mean unconditional boundaries.
Right.
You know, we as people, you know, I was married at one time, and that relationship ended because not only did that person cross my boundaries, but cross my kids' boundaries. You know, I'm a mama that if you start talking down to my kid and treating them bad, clip, you gone. And, you know, I had to explain that at one point, because, you know, I was asked, well, why did so-and-so leave? Well, because so-and-so was not acting right with you. And I love you. And I think as parents, you know, a lot of us, that's the love that we experience after we've given birth, because I know I thought I understood unconditional love at one point, but it wasn't until my babies that I was like, oh, that's what unconditional love was. And as a former witness, at that point, it became very hard for me to understand some of the actions that Jehovah's Witnesses take with their own children. Because when that unconditional love hits you, how is it possible to go against that?
That's all right. We got Fancin's up there too. Hey Fancin, how you doing? How do you feel about unconditional love? What's your definition of it? Unmute. We can't hear you.
Okay. Well, I feel like everybody else is pretty on point with it, you know. I don't know. I have a friend who got disfellowship for being gay, and his father disowned him, and I was roommates with him for a while, and it was really taking a toll on him, you know. Like his mom died, and it was just really sad. You know, I don't think anybody should be disowned for being gay. Kind of windy out here. Sorry, I'm gonna go inside.
No, it's fine. So I guess that kind of begs the question, what do you think it is that causes or allows people to go against the requirements of unconditional love? We talk about, you know, as parents, as siblings, you know, the people that are important to us. What do you think? What do you think about, what is it about these organizations or religious beliefs, not just Jehovah's Witnesses, but other religions who made that, you know, shun gay people? But, you know, when your kids decide to leave a religion, what is it what is so powerful to disrupt that bond that naturally exists?
could probably ask Ellie that. I didn't even see she was in there. See if Ellie wants to comment on that. Did you see her in there?
Oh, I thought Ellie and Alicia were the same person under two different
Oh
things.
no, I think we got an Ellie. Is that you, Alicia? I think it's Ellie, or is it?
It's Alicia.
Oh, that's you too. Okay, I didn't know you had two. Okay, all right.
All right. Well, the thing is, maybe it's, for me as a guy, it's a Latino thing. I have guy friends that are gay, bisexual, but I don't have kids. I have more lesbian friends than gay friends. I only had one token gay friend in high school, and we keep in touch via social media. It's easy to say you'll be accepting of someone's sexuality until you have kids. Now, I'm not speaking for myself. I don't know if any of you have a transgender son or daughter, or a gay son or daughter, but I don't. I do have two nephews, and they haven't come out the closet. I'm pretty sure they're straight. It's a Latino thing. It's a guy thing, machismo, all that good stuff. It's something that I really don't agree with. But like I said, it's one thing. It's one thing to have a kid that's in that situation, and versus someone like me who doesn't have a kid in that situation. I find myself talking to you girls and being open with it. I myself identify as a straight man, and for the last year or so, I disconnected. I haven't seen anything in the media because it's all machismo, bravado, and things I don't need. And that's just how I feel about it. Shout out to all you other new participants here. It shows a lot of character having you here on the live wire here. But that's basically how I stand.
I mean, I always wonder about that because my dad has two gay children, and for him, it was barely a blip on the radar. And in our community, though, in the African American community, there was a lot of backlash against effeminate men, and there was a talk of the media is taking away our the masculinity, and putting people use terms called talking about lesbians, calling them he, she's, and stuff like that. So it exists in a lot of minority communities, and and a lot of it sometimes comes back to religion or the thought process that these things were brought in, conditioned. Thank you, conditioned by the white man or things like that. So, but I mean, research has proven otherwise, of course. But I mean, is that all it takes? Someone breaking the lines that you have that someone has put forth to disrupt that natural bond.
Let me chime in 1 minute here, because I grew up watching Mike Tyson. All right, he currently has a podcast. He currently had a rapper on there. I forgot the name of the rapper. And the topic was about Dwayne Wade and his son. And as you know or follow basketball, Dwayne Wade has a son who basically I think is 12 years old, and he's a little confused sexually of where he's going, whether he's leaning more towards girls or guys. And it made the social media around not too long ago. I don't know if you
I thought he was transgender, not gay, or was he both?
Oh, I don't know if he was transgender. What I do know is that during the whole social media outburst a couple of weeks ago, they were talking about him. He was undecided, basically. Having and that was a big thing. Like when Mike Tyson went to prison, it was like a say it ain't so Mike from Mike. It was a say it ain't so moment for me. With this Dwayne Wade, it was like, wow, it threw me through a loop. This is why I don't watch TV or listen to the radio anymore. Because this very reason. But Mike Tyson had this guy, Mike Tyson. I mean, how far this guy's come from convicted rapist to having this guy, a rapper, on the show debating whether it's right or wrong to have a son that's undecided, so to speak.
To support your kid if that's what they.
Yeah, I mean,
say they are.
Yeah. He's made. I've never been in a situation, and like I said, I have gay friends, lesbian friends, but I don't have transgender friends. And I think the fact that surgery is getting cheaper is another thing. Once the transgenders have the surgery, or what's it called, reassignment surgery, I think it makes it easier for them career-wise, at least here in the States.
Yeah,
But,
a lot of people do. They are more, they do like people to fall within that, within a gender spectrum. I mean, does anyone else in the group have children who are gay or transgender or anything? No, I'm the only one with the son that decided to be Elsa for Halloween. No.
gay or bisexual?
Like it didn't even bother me. It unnerved me for a brief moment, but then I remembered that, you know, we
Are you
never
talking about
restrict.
the 4-year-old?
No,
Or the
the
13?
nine year old.
Okay, all
And
right.
it was a brief moment where I was like, "Oh," you know, and that for me as a lesbian, I felt bad even having a moment to think. But
It's only
what,
because of society, though, because at the end of the day, whether you're transgender, gay, straight, whatever, you're still a human at the end of the
yeah.
day. You
Well, you
still
know,
have
I'm not
feelings.
even concerned about it now because, you know, I know
Yeah,
what he
exactly.
has crushes on girls, and I'm like, whatever. But
Exactly.
it made me realize that children, at least in my household, we never cared about what toy, what character. So when the 4-year-old decides to wear fairy wings while you know, waving guns, it never mattered. So
Not a
there was
problem. That's right,
not a
yeah.
problem. And I think a lot of people put too much pressure on kids to make a choice. And that's just my personal viewpoint, because I feel if you allow a child to do where you're not going to have questions, because they're going to be open, honest, and be who they are. And at the
Exactly.
end of the day, you putting a label on them at 4 years old or 9 years old, I mean, I feel like at that point you're influencing that choice.
Now,
Yeah, they don't
But
even know their self anyway. They have to get into themselves to know who they are anyway.
now is your, how do you pronounce your name? Fanchon?
Fancy.
Fanton.
Fanchon. Where you located at?
I'm in Minnesota.
Minnesota. Okay, you guys are very progressive over there, right? I take it.
Yeah,
I take it. All right. And in New
especially
York,
in Twin Cities.
yeah, in New York, it's the same thing. Here in South Florida, not so much. Not so much. I don't. I kid you not. I met a psychologist, cross dresser. I met lesbians, and I met a lot of cool gay guys down here. But when it comes to transgenders, I've yet to meet one. I don't know if that's the case with you over there in Minnesota.
I just saw a transgender guy last night at Target.
Really, really.
Yeah.
Now, your son, he identifies as bisexual, or
Not me. I don't have a son.
you mentioned your husband's son. Who was it that you just mentioned?
No, she said she
Well,
saw
it was
somebody at Target.
Okay. I thought you had a son or something like that that identified as that, but no.
no.
Okay. Yeah. It's a guy thing for me. I know it's easy for me to say something, but you know, this thing with the whole Dwayne Wade situation. Have you been following it?
The what situation?
The Dwayne Wade situation with his son?
No, I didn't even know about it.
Yeah. His son hasn't decided whether he likes girls or likes guys or is a transgender, and it's making the rounds in the news. But you know, it's a big debate. Mike Tyson took to task a rapper who was very adamant about you know, being straight in the Black male community. But either way, I find myself, you know, going to an intercity high school where you had gay friends, you had lesbian friends, and the one that got kicked out the houses. I mean, what did they turn to? I'm pretty sure in Minnesota you guys have a lot of housing for that type of situation.
I hadn't had any situations like that.
Really?
I mean, I had a lot of friends with situations like that. I mean, I guess my question is, why are all these adults so concerned about what a 12-year-old is doing? I mean, I have a friend who's Muslim, and he came to me because I was gay when his son, I mean, I have no question. I don't know how this little boy or girl is going to grow up, but he came to me because in his culture, he had no idea what to do because his son was never exposed to anything. They're a very conservative family. There were no external influences, and he's like, "How does this happen?" I said, "Because that's what your son likes." And his son will say, "I'm a boy," but at the same time, he wants to wear dresses. He didn't want his hair cut. He, you know, put barrettes and stuff in his hair, but I'm a boy. And I think, you know, and he learned to just let his son grow up. So we don't even know. No one has a question. And when his wife said, you know, "I think I'm gonna have another daughter," the little boy corrected her. and said, I'm a boy, not your daughter. So are adults, or is it the adult that is putting these labels? Because this child was naturally like this, naturally loved things, loved female things, naturally very effeminate. And it seemed out the blue to this family. So obviously I mean, that's just how he is. But, the adults are the ones who put these labels on these kids, I feel.
Well, guys, it has been fun. Keep me posted on the next online meetup. Fanshawn, it's been awesome meeting you. I had a ex-football player friend of mine from your area. He told me there's a lot of interracial marriages going on over there, and I can't wait to go over there one day. Awesome seeing you guys. You guys are all my heroes, and take care. Feel free to reach out to me. All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take care, man.
Take care. I think we should also talk about the unconditional love as far as like the people that shun, like how is that even unconditional love? Like I don't see how, because I made a post yesterday about how do people that shun their kids, shun their children, they don't have to be in any of those categories that we were just talking about, but just their regular children. And how do they sleep at night shunning their children?
My
That's
mother
definitely
said she
not
slept very
unconditional.
well.
Huh?
I said my mother said she slept very well.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think it really affected her too much. But yeah.
That's so desensitized. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night because that's totally some conditional love. That's totally conditional love. There's no way I would be able to sleep.
I can barely sleep when my kids are not in the same house with me.
Exactly.
So I can't imagine not knowing where they are, what they're doing, or anything like that.
And how they snuggle up and sleep so well and so peacefully and go about their life. And then I think about like when they get older, you're gonna need your children. Now your children may express unconditional love, because if my mom or my dad actually came back to me right now, because I have unconditional love, even though all the crap that they've done to me and how they've shunned me, I would still welcome them back with open arms. I would forgive them, and I would be there to take care of their frail asses as they're getting old, because they are getting old and they're gonna need that. They're not gonna get that unconditional love from those the people that are inside of that organization, whether they think so or not. They're not gonna get it.
Yeah.
How y'all feel about that?
I was on mute, so yeah, that's a deep question.
You better than me.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at something. I'm sorry. Go
You are
ahead.
better than me.
Go ahead.
That's all I get. You're better than me. I can't do it. I set my mama up real nice, you know what I mean, in a nursing facility. She won't stay home. I hire somebody for her, but I ain't gonna be able to do it.
I probably wouldn't. I ain't even gonna lie. Let me stop. I wouldn't be able to do it either. I would welcome her back with open arms and be able to go visit her at that nursing home.
I check on her, make sure she all right, make sure they ain't treating her bad.
Yeah.
But I ain't gonna be able to do it. I can't do it right now while she healthy, so I know I wouldn't be able to do it. Yeah, no.
And
I always give my sister props for that.
What'd you say?
I said I give my sister props for it, because anytime something go down, even with all the stuff, my sister still show up, and her daughter still show up, and they let us know if it's something serious and we need to be there. But I personally don't take any part other than possibly write. Maybe I write a check. I write a check and send it off, but I can't.
I don't know. I would definitely go to the nursing home and visit her. I could not have her in my home. I wouldn't do that, but I could definitely go and bring her something to eat or whatever. If she needed that company, I would be able to do that. But as far as like you coming to stay with me and stuff, I feel like Brandy, you're like, nah, that ain't. I got kicked out.
But
I probably would end up being mean. So I probably.
I think I would be mean too. I know I would. I think I would purposely be mean. So I ain't gonna set her or me up for failure.
Be like, let's not do that.
Let's not even go down that road. I'll make sure you're good. But
yeah.
And I think it depends on what type of relationship you had with your parents while you were in the organization. I mean, me personally, it was extremely abusive, extremely unhealthy. So my staying away is not just for her good, but it's for my good too, because you know, I don't want to turn into the person I'm going to be when I'm in the room with her. And you know, that's why I can send some DoorDash or write a check, but I can't personally be there.
I totally feel you. I've done too much healing, too much work on, you know what I mean, healing for me to just throw it all away. You know what I mean? No.
But it's crazy how you still got that.
Still reach out and talk to her, and you know what I mean, occasionally send her a text. The fact that I even still do that is a lot, because the relationship is very strained. You know
I
what
don't
I mean?
do that much.
Yeah, you know, and like my sister live with her and don't talk to her. So
What?
How is that possible?
Yeah, how is that possible?
What you said? How? Yeah.
Oh wow. Do you have those issues,
relationships is,
Fancy?
okay.
Fancy,
Right.
you
Fancy,
don't
you
talk
just
to
so
yours.
silent on there.
I know. You don't talk to your family, do you? You said it's just you and your boyfriend, right?
Yeah, I live with my boyfriend, and I blocked my parents because they say lies about me to people that I know, and it's pretty maddening. There's nothing I can do about it. You know, it's not like I can know every person they tell and say that's not true, but you know, like I was smoking weed when I was living in Minneapolis, and when I came back home to my parents, I told them, and they started telling everybody that I was on drugs, and I was like, no, I'm just smoking weed, you know.
They make it sound like you was a crackhead or something, huh?
You was on that hard stuff. You was on that methadone stuff.
Y'all listen, my grandmother called me and told me my little brother was on dope, and I said, Grandma, why would you told me? Because he told her he smoked weed. She's like going through her phone book, calling people, telling Brandon's on dope.
I think older people did call
They make
weed dope. Older people do call it dope. They definitely have called it. I've heard that.
Why you gotta go through the phone book though and tell everybody?
the phone book.
The phone book. When the last time I say the phone book?
I mean,
No,
so
her personal phone book. Her personal phone book.
Oh,
Everybody
okay.
should know.
So
That's
do you
crazy,
think
though.
you'll ever be in a situation where you have to take care of your parents, or do you have other siblings like I do who could be responsible for that?
Me
My mama
personally,
be in
I'm not
trouble.
taking care of them.
Yeah. You said what? What'd you say?
I'm not gonna have any part taking care of my parents because they're nasty to me. So
I think if mine were to be, I'm gonna say if mine were to actually leave that organization, I gotta take it back again, because if they were to actually leave the organization and apologize, my father, and they did some messed up stuff to me, but I don't know, in my heart, I could be able to build some type of relationship with him. It may not be a totally fulfilling relationship, but just because I want to grasp onto something, you know, from my parents, I would probably be there for that. But as far as like anything extra and all that, I wouldn't be able to do that either. I just can't do it. I've blocked mine too, though, Fancy. I mean, my dad blocked me, and my mom, whether she's in the organization or out of the organization, she has no unconditional love, period. She don't care about her kids like that. So I have those two things to think about. You know, whether she in or out, she still is she's a jacked up person.
My mama is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess for all of us, that relationship that a parent should be building with their child, just never happened. And, you know, whether it's from the organization or in my case, I say organization and mental illness, because something was going on there.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And that puts a little bit of a strain on us as children, because, you know, we are told to make sure that we take care of them when they get older. I mean, for me, with my father, it's never a problem, never an issue. Whatever he needs, you know, drop a hat, be there. But when you're
so lucky that you even got your dad, though. You got at least one out of the bunch. Like, that's great.
I mean, like I say, I'm thankful every day.
I would be too.
I mean, I lost him for 20 years almost because of the organization. Well, not quite 20. I was
But that's still,
Same here.
even 10 years, 5 years is a lot, you know?
Mhm.
I've been working on mine with I'm going on like 8 years with my dad, just blocking me all of a sudden. And I had he already knew my lifestyle and everything. I'm not disfellowship. And then when I was 38, then he decided, hey, I'm just not gonna like forget you. And I just didn't get that. I'm like, dang. He's like, oh, if you wasn't practicing the same religion, wouldn't you stop talking to your child too? I was like, no, because I love my child unconditionally, and you should too. And of course, he didn't have an answer to that. I was blocked after that.
I just have a relation. My dad is not a witness. However, when I was growing up, he was an alcoholic. So we still have, we still have a relationship, but they're strained there. And
Right.
he's been sober for 23 years, but the whole time that he was an addict was the crucial time in my life when I really, really needed him. So the relationship we have now is just what we've built since I've been an adult. And we're pretty close. But I guess he don't know, his social skills are not there. So like his idea of spending quality time is you come over his house and you in one room and he's in his room watching TV for
what?
Like
It's not it's not an attachment. Y'all don't have a bond. That's what that is. Yeah.
Exactly. So I talk to him all the time, but it's still a strain there.
Yeah. I hate that too, because even when I did talk to my dad, it was a strain. See, I was molested by my dad, and I still accepted him after the fact. And then it was always that uncomfortable feeling, like, hey, dude, you touched me, and then we sitting across eating with each other and stuff. So it was always a weird feeling. I never wanted him to be around my daughter by herself, and I still, it was weird because I still accepted it. I wonder, is that part of a mental issue where, no, I think maybe like Stockholm syndrome, where you still accept people in, even though they hurt you like that, and you still having to deal with this. So I think it was like even a punishment to me I should have been the one that shunned him, actually, tell you the truth.
Well, I mean, you think about it, we were raised in a religion where we were conditioned to accept
yeah, you're right.
Accept people that treat us any kind of way. And with my mother, when I came to understand the extent of the abuse, it took a while for me to get to the point to say, I have to let you go, because I'm not going to heal if I continue this relationship with you knowing that you denied what happened. And in most cases, people, when they're not family, it's easier to back away. But when they're, when you have that familiar relationship with your abuser, plus the guilt that you get from the religion, you still hold on to toxic relationships because that's what we were conditioned to do.
Right. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Because I used to hate being around him, but I needed to be around him. That's what it was. I needed it because I needed that other. So I was like, dang, at least I guess I got a piece of a parent to hold on to, because the other one ain't hitting on that. And so I was like, let me try to hold on to this one. And he got the nerve to shun me. I'm like, wow, how you shunning somebody and you can't keep your hands to yourself away from little kids? That's your own kid. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
He should be in this fellowship.
Hey, but he's an elder though. I noticed that when people, like the people that are in that congregation, being that is a haven. It's a safe haven for people to prey on kids. So whenever they're doing stuff, what they're doing, they actually move up in the organization. And he definitely moved up. When he did that, he was a ministerial servant. The next thing I know, he was an elder.
I mean, my mother traveled to serve where the need was great in other countries and was allowed to go to international things. And she auxiliary pioneered when she was able to. And, the entire time, now that I know it wasn't just me, but all of my siblings, she was horribly, horribly abusing us. And, there was another child in our congregation who said she was mean and was not listened to. So it amazes me that there is no, the unconditional love, or excuse me, the conditional love extends not just from your own family, but it comes from the top down. That natural love that children should have, that any adult should have for children, is it doesn't exist.
Who is that? Is that Brandy? I mean, Brianna. Hey, Brianna. I can't hear you.
She's connecting the audio still.
Oh, okay. Brianna's so sweet. I talked to her the other night. She's a sweetheart. We can't hear you though, girl. We can't hear you though, girl.
Yeah, I can't turn it on for her. She has to. Oh, there it goes. It's connecting again. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Hey, you.
Love the background.
Welcome to
you.
welcome to the Apostate Café. We talking about unconditional love today.
Awesome, because I got all the energy. Don't need no coffee. Let's go.
So we're talking about, our own parents and the congregation and the lack of unconditional love, although that's kind of their slogan. We give unconditional love.
What's your feel on it?
My feel on it, since I did hear some of what you guys were talking about, especially with the unconditional love, I feel like that is very fake. They do not know what they're talking about. And I was always taught to turn the other cheek. You are allowing those people to do anything to you. Like, being an outspoken person, someone who knew right from wrong, I never really liked that. So it was just kind of weird to me. And my mom and my dad, like my mom, I think I was much closer to her than I was with my dad. My dad, he would come home from work, go to sleep, maybe have a drink or two. But I wasn't really close with him, so we didn't have that bond or that love. But personally, it was there in a fake way.
Yeah, and I know a couple people who feel that way about their parents, that they didn't have the severe negativity that some of us did, but there seemed to be some type of wall there that you couldn't get past.
Like we can love you, but we can't love you that much. You're important, but you're not more important than Jehovah. And those
I wonder if that's a fear thing. Do you think they're scared to love their children that much in case they have to, push them away?
No, I think what it is, they're selfish and they're worried about getting their life because they need to get into that new order. You feel me? So to me, for you to shun your children and everything, if they don't do what you want them to do, just because of an organization telling you that, it's selfish. That's the way I look at it. It's very selfish.
Because we know parents who don't shun.
Huh?
Or we all know of parents who aren't shunning children, despite what's said. And some of them are. It seems like there's a little bit of allowance if you aren't trying to be too good of a witness. Oh, well, that's just so and so. They of course they aren't going to shun their kids. That's
the witnesses that would be in the back room. That's those right there. Because you're doing some stuff like talking to your kid that you born into this world. Now you'll be in the back room. You can't be doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
What's your definition of unconditional love, though, Brianna?
Unconditional love is unconditional love to me is somewhat what my aunt did for me when I was out in Boston, drunk on my back, didn't know what day it was. She was there even when she wasn't there. Because I'm only 21 years old.
Yeah, she's our baby of the group.
Yeah. So I went out, I was partying for Halloween, and I was upset. And that anger led me to drink and drink and drink. And I was just drinking Henny, no chaser. And I was, a bitch was on her back for a couple of hours. But like my aunt, because I had told her before I had left, I had told her, I just want to give you this address, let you know where I am, just in case something happens. And like she was on it, like, and we don't even know each other. Like, we don't even know each other like that. Is she still upset with me? Yes, I feel like she still feels some type of way. She actually kind of cut off our communication for now until I get my shit together. But
is your
yeah.
auntie? Did you say your aunt was a Jehovah's Witness too?
When she was younger.
Oh, she was.
She wasn't baptized, but she grew up into that.
She may still have a little bit of that mentality, because I feel like when someone's going through that, that is the worst time by far to cut anybody off. At that point is when you really need to be there. You know, because I've heard of people getting disfellowship for almost committing suicide, for attempting to commit suicide. And that's when they get shunned.
I mean, I'm not trying to put nobody. Go ahead.
Oh, I didn't know that you could get disfellowship for trying to commit suicide.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I was reproved for it.
Yeah, most definitely.
Oh wow.
You want to take your life? What? We're gonna go ahead and get rid of you and sit you to the back if you feel like you got leprosy. We don't
I
like
could have
you.
swore you fell.
No, it was the back.
I mean, I know someone who went through a very similar situation with the excessive drinking, and I at the time wanted to pull back, but someone else, because I'm not going to say names or who it was, you know, this person went out in the middle of the night, picked this person up, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 times, you know, during this time period where they were, you know, going through a divorce and drinking and just kind of almost ruining their life. And without this other person sticking by them and, you know, taking care of their child and making sure that it didn't affect their children or their other life, you know, that woman's life would have been ruined without having that unconditional love and support. And it was the first time I had ever seen that in actual action that way, you know, putting up with stuff that other people just would not. Yeah, sorry, my children are loud. Darn happy kids.
That's the way they're supposed to be too.
But yeah,
they sound like kids.
They had ice cream for breakfast this morning. That's some happy kids. That's why they bouncing.
Oh my god! I woke up like, what? Like, and it was the butt crack of dawn. Like, I didn't sleep in, and I'm just like.
Those were things that we would not have been able. We couldn't touch our refrigerator growing up. Like, so.
Oh yeah,
like
we
that
couldn't
are
either.
really happy. We had a lock on our refrigerator growing up because they didn't want us to eat unless they wanted us to eat. Like, we got the fast most of the time growing up. That's probably why I'm bony now, because of that, and that's why I can eat less because of that. So yeah, that's good that your kids got to get up and eat ice cream and go in the refrigerator. Shoot.
So how are you guys focusing on changing? You know, I guess we should kind of wrap this up. But what are we doing to show unconditional love, even though for most of us it wasn't shown? You know, how are we stopping that cycle?
Well, my mother always taught me, treat people how you want to be treated. That is something that I do believe is, you know, actually legit of a saying. So I try to do that. I give what you give me. If you give me bullshit, I'm gonna give you bullshit.
Yeah, I feel that.
But you know, at the same time, like I would always give you love. Like, there's no reason for me to give you, you know, something bad unless you're asking for it.
Right.
So yeah.
The default is love and kindness. You know, I mean that should be our default.
What about you, Brandy?
Unconditional love and my kids. My kids, I teach them the things that I wish I had been taught. And I let them be who they want to be. You know what I mean? I never tried to stir them one way or another, even if I disagree. You know what I mean? I'm going to give my opinion on it, but they know they have my 100% support. And no matter what it is, they can talk to me about anything, sex, whoever, whatever. You know what I mean? It's open dialect when it comes to our relationship, because I couldn't talk to my mama about nothing.
Right.
Nothing. You know what I mean? And I never want them to feel like they have to go find somebody on the outside to get information or support from. So I make sure that I'm that person. Like my mama made it a point to let me know that she wasn't my friend. And I'm the total opposite when it comes to my kids. I'm your mama and I'm your friend. I'm your first friend. And I'm going to be the friend that's going to tell you how it is like it is, whether you like it or not. And I talk to my kids just like I talk to anybody else. Like if I see my son packing up a bag, he about to go, oh, you got a whole bag? Where you going? Like that's how I talk to my kids. Because
you say you got a whole bag.
A whole bag.
You know what I mean? That's how, because I want them to be able to come to me about anything. You know what I mean? So that's how I'm breaking the cycle.
Right. What about you, Fancy?
I've been working on doing some positive affirmations, you know, just finding little things. Like my therapist wants me to go on Pinterest for some reason and find positive affirmations. And so, yeah, that's what I'm working on. And I also am working on Rodney Allgood's boot camp program. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but Rodney Allgood is a ex-Jehovah's Witness, and he's got this boot camp. It's kind of expensive, but it's pretty good so far. So I'm working on that.
Okay, that's
How much is it?
Good.
It's like $3.99.
$3.99. $300.
$399.
Oh, hell.
Oh, okay. Well, good. Unfortunately,
I'm gonna just stick with my therapy and my little copay.
Unfortunately,
Jehovah's Witnesses didn't give us a chance to
get education. Yeah, Jehovah's Witnesses didn't let me get education like that, so I can't afford that type of therapy right now.
So he let me pay half, and then he's gonna collect the other half pretty soon. So
I bet you he is.
Oh wow. Okay.
Look,
so, works for you. Hey.
I'm gonna tell you what I've been doing for me, Jesse. I've been basically, what I did is I made sure to basically like piggybacking off of Brandy, made sure I loved my child unconditionally. Let her know that I don't care what, you can talk to me. I'm your friend, but I'm your mom first. Fuck that. I'm your mother first, then I'm your friend. And I love that child. Like, she knows I love her. She never has to wonder if I love her. I'm a ride or die for my child. I'm there for her 100% and then some. Yes, it has come back to bite me in the behind because she's spoiled. I don't know what, but my baby knows she loves. She knows she loved, and she'll never have to tell anybody that she had a boring, doomful, scary ass childhood. Period. She just said period.
Ooh.
I mean, and that's something my therapist also shared with me, was that by parenting this one, you know, I was quote unquote reparenting myself. And, you know, by, you know, giving her opportunities or treating her a particular way, it was, you know, it kind of created a healing feeling within me. I mean, I don't know how healthy that is, but, you know, my therapist said it was fine. So yeah, just breaking that cycle of conditional love it's tough, you know.
It's tough. But the chain can be broken. It can definitely be broken. Definitely. I totally appreciated this right here. Are you showing your face, Jesse? Yeah. Who's that? Oh, you got a baby up there too? No, she good.
Just now, that's who's showing their face.
Who's the baby right here too? This my grandbaby right here. Say hey.
Oh wow.
See, I have to unconditionally love this one too.
She is the cutest.
Say thank you. All right, now get going. Keep going.
Get going. They can't work because it's
Come get her. Come get this one.
I'm gonna go back to the conversation, then we're gonna
close my door. Let me move.
Yeah. Can you hit the door? Yeah. I mean, I figure at a particular point, if they don't bother you while you're in the bathroom, if they can bother you while you're in the bathroom, then your office or webcam has no privacy. Enough. There's no.
Listen, my oldest is 21. He still talks to me through the bathroom door.
Mm-hmm. And I love that, you know, a lot of us are, you know, that's a relationship I didn't have with my own parent. You know, there was no desire to talk about anything. And, you know, if I did, you know, the few times I accidentally slipped up and let her know something by accident, or she was snooping, the result was chaos, you know, there. And that's something that I hope that, you know, I've nipped in the bud, that they will continue as they get older to talk to me as much as they do now.
The only thing I have a problem with is, and it comes from being brought up like I was with no love. I have a problem with affection. And that's something that I've had to work on, like hugs and stuff like that. I can hug on someone that I'm involved with, but for some reason with my child, it's hard for some reason. I don't know. It's not like I don't love her or whatever. And I can hug her, but it just, and I do hug her, and she comes to me and hugs me because she knows the issues or whatever. But I hate that. That's the only, I really hate that so bad that it's like that. But she knows I love her though, you know.
Does anyone else have that problem? Because for me, it's the exact opposite. I am extremely affectionate with my children, but I struggle with my significant other, and as far as physical affection. Yeah. You know,
Really?
I'm the exact opposite.
Wow.
I just want to say, Institute, you look just like my mother. It's kind of scary. Oh my God. Wow.
Sorry.
I had to look twice, like, whoa. Wow.
I'm in my 30s, baby. I can't be your mama.
Well, yeah, so I don't know, but you know, I'm glad that everybody found a way to work on themselves, because working on yourself, that's what we want to do, is make sure that we come out, we talk about our issues or whatever, but also make sure that we're working on it to better ourselves. We don't want to just sit and wobble in the gloom and the doom. We want to make sure that we do things to progress and not just stay stuck. But in a lot of times when you talk these things out, and it helps a lot.
And I love the share of ideas for different things that everyone's doing to better themselves. You know, I love hearing, you know, about the affirmations on Pinterest, because I've never been one to really look at other affirmations, because I guess for me, affirmations were a negative thing. You don't want to get too high in your self-esteem. You don't want to think, you know, pride is before a fall was kind of the common phrase, you know, one of the common phrases in our home. And but I love that idea.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. And
Pinterest is a good website. Highly recommend.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And Fancy, always feel free to share any of your affirmations on in the post in the group, because affirmations are very good. They are good. I used to do them a lot. And it's one thing I noticed too is when you start doing things with me myself, I start doing something that makes me feel good. For some reason, I'll stop. Because I think somewhere in the back of my head, I'm thinking, oh, you're not worthy of feeling this good. Like you don't need to be feeling that good. It's always something in the back of my head saying that too. So what we got to do is continue to feel like, you know, understand that we are worthy. You're worthy of feeling good. You're worthy of being loved. You're worthy of loving and, you know, being treated good. So it's
not losing that motivation.
Exactly.
Unconditional love should be the default. It's what we should require from those of us in our lives, you know, and we getting it from them, we show it to them. You know, we don't want the toxic relationship that we had with the witnesses to be repeated in any of our personal relationships, because we are at risk for that simply because of how we were raised. I mean, I went through it in a horrible marriage, and I'm sure everyone has some lovely stories from when they first left. So we want to make sure we keep working on loving ourselves.
But I know it was fun. It was fun. I hardly remember. I was about like Brianna right there when I left. Shoot. I was drunk and turning up all the time, for real.
We all got them stories.
Yeah, we was wild.
We need to have a night when we just exchange some going wild stories.
We need to do that on a Talk night. That's what we do, for real. Cause I wilded out. I was definitely like, I was on my ass, for real. I was like, yes, freedom.
Oh my God.
I want to thank everyone for joining.
Yes, so much.
This is awesome, and
thank you so much. We love the group. We love the energy that we're getting from this. It's a healing process. We appreciate it.
Yes, I definitely agree too.
Well, thank you everyone who's watching on Facebook, and we will have another Apostate Cafe in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
The time may be changing just
Yeah.
because we realize we can't keep, we're not gonna get up that early.
We can't do the 11 o'clock thing. I can't do it. We're not used to it. And they can't take us to the back room. But y'all have a wonderful Sunday. Thank you so much for joining us with XJW Talk Therapy and Support. And this was the Apostate Cafe. And we'll see y'all in 2 weeks on this, okay?
All right.